Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Power of Attorney. I am your host, Latanya Moore, and today is going to be a great show. I am going to be sharing with you guys the 4 easy steps of actually protecting your trademark. So again, 4 easy steps to protecting your trademark. And I know that a lot of times all of this seems really overwhelming. So I totally get it. Um, but again, although it's overwhelming, guys, it really is necessary to make sure that your business is protected. So again, 4 easy steps to protecting your trademark. We're going to talk about those very quickly. I'm trying to push this down to about 15 minutes, but I just can't do that. Please listen. Be blessed as well. So listen, thank you guys for joining. Please share this video. We are talking about 4 easy steps to protecting your trademark. As you guys remember, yesterday, I sort of talked about those things that are beyond the trademark, beyond the copyright, beyond the patent, so that you could understand that there are lots of other things that you need to also think about. So it doesn't just stop here. But I had lots of questions yesterday about very specific questions about people's trademarks and about things that they had already marked. And I said, well, let's do a follow-up today. So I want to really kind of dig into that. So it's really 4 simple steps. I know I'm saying 4 simple steps. But again, I always tell you guys that the biggest thing about this that you really want to know and understand is that there are always service providers like myself. There are always other service providers that can assist you with this process. Okay, so the trademarking process is one of those that, again, I always encourage you guys to seek help. So if you're not in a position to actually pay a professional to do this, at a minimum, see if you can find a professional that you can pay to at least just review the information. Okay, because that's the biggest thing. You want to make sure that you have the systems in place for someone to let you know what is going on with your product. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm encouraging everybody to share this video. I'm sharing it. So, of course, it's just a couple of minutes that we take to get started, but I want you guys to really think about that. Think about everything that you have been working on, and think about all the people that you see that may be doing something similar. So today's show is really going to be about that, because I got numerous inbox questions and emails about that very thing on yesterday. So I want to make sure that I'm going over that. So again, share this video. We are going to be talking about 4 easy steps that you can take to protect your brand. Okay, 4 easy steps that you can take to protect your brand. So again, I'm waiting on everybody to kind of get in. The first 5 minutes, we want to share this video so that we can encourage as many people as possible to, again, protect their brand. So here we go. 4 easy steps to protecting your trademark. Four easy steps to protecting your trademark. Now, remember yesterday, one of the things that we talked about, and this is kind of a before you get started, and I mentioned this a little bit. The first thing that you need to know before you start using something, you need to know, is it available? Right? Is this something that I really can truly legally make mine? Do I even want to? And the reason that you want to do that is you don't want to spend time building a brand and all of that, only to find out that someone else is doing that or something similar enough where it could be confusing. So the first thing that you need to know is whether it's available. Now, remember, I told you guys, all trademarks are not registered. And because they're not registered, that doesn't mean that you can have them. It comes down to the owner's intent in the marketplace. So again, very vital that you get that. The first thing that you need to do is conduct something called a trademark research report. You can get a trademark research report. This will allow you to see if the trademark is available before you register it. Here's the big thing. They are not free. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. It ain't necessarily a free trademark search, but it is definitely money well spent before you go pay for a non-refundable application plus application fee. And the fee, just the fees alone, start at $325, just to let you know. And then typically an attorney is going to charge you probably anywhere from $750. I know some that charge over like about $1,500 for a trademark. That does not include the fees, guys. Sorry. So you need to make sure that you, again, it starts with you. Do your due diligence. You want a properly conducted research report. That's the first thing. The other thing too is now when you go to talk to that attorney that's doing it, part of that $750, $850, $1,500 is a research report. That's a negotiating tool. Now that's a business tip that I typically don't give out. Only the guys that's watching Power of Attorney can get this. So again, you want to have a properly conducted research report. So you want to pay for that trademark research report, see what's out there. It will also help you make sure that you're not adopting or beginning to use somebody else's trademark, that you're not infringing on their brand, because if it does, you could then be forced to give up your trademark. See, you can get a trademark if it's different, but if it's so close to somebody else's and now they sue you because they say, well, this is infringing on my trademark. So if yours is a question mark and a I don't know, a colon, and the other person's is a question mark and an exclamation point, that may be close enough, right, that there could be an infringement challenge. Here's the thing, you got to have legal fees and all of that. That's why you need to do this up front. The cost is definitely going to be cheaper. So you want to do this research, but you want to get this research report so that you can avoid these issues, right? And you want to make sure that your trademark is safe to use. The other thing too is be very wary of these free trademark searches. I've had people tell me, well, LaTanya, you know, they're coming to me for services. And so they say, well, LaTanya, I have already looked it up. I looked it up. I went through the trademark search and it's not, nobody's using it, right? That's what they say. And okay, yeah, you know, no trademark, nobody has a trademark on this. They've done that, only to find out that they went through the free trademark search, which is not an extensive trademark search, the one that costs. So you got to make sure that you understand that, right? So they may tell you like the trademark is available, because a lot of times they're trying to pull you into these services. I've had people say that they saw a trademark service, that they saw a trademark service so that, you know, then turn around, they say, oh, well, you do this free search, we can offer the services for you for $299. I'm just using that as an example. And they probably would, because they know that the application is non-refundable. So see, you're actually paying them to do the application. Nobody can guarantee that your trademark will be approved, not even an attorney. So the best thing that you need to do is, again, do your own due diligence up front and research to see if your trademark is available. So step one, research to see, is your trademark available, right? The answer is yes, we hope. And if the answer is yes, then register your trademark. So once you get that report, again, it is not free, but once you get the real report and you determine that your trademark is available, immediately then register it. So pay the attorney the additional money and go ahead and register your trademark, right? Because remember, trademark rights can be acquired either when you first use the mark or when you first file. Okay, that's why you want the application in as soon as possible, because it's usually a higher cost when you're already using the mark in the marketplace, because now there's more for them to do at the Patent and Trademark Office because you already out using it, right? And you probably didn't show like you normally would that you plan on protecting it. So there are a lot of nuances and issues that come into play when you're looking at doing your trademark. So remember, guys, step one, research. Step two, register. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I really want to drive home, because this is where a lot of the questions were coming from, is about monitoring for infringement. Remember, I told you guys, you need to, first of all, you need to Google and I'm saying Google, you need to make sure that you do that, but also set up a Google alert. For example, if you have a registered hashtag, set up a Google alert for that hashtag. So anything that's kind of out there roaming around, especially on social media, is going to be picked up. Now you see who's using your mark. And remember, I told you guys yesterday what to do. So I don't want to take time today going into that. But if you weren't a part of yesterday's show, go back and look at it, because I told you guys what to do when you see that someone is infringing on your trademark. Now, listen, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. It does not have to be the exact same thing. It can just be something that is so similar that people may be confused, right? It can be something that is so similar that people can be confused. Now, again, let's not confuse this with if you have a similar product or service. We're not talking about that. We are talking about your brand, your company name, and anything that is trademarkable. Trademarkable. It's early, y'all. So again, let's say you have the trademark, right? So you have the trademark and someone else is out and they're doing something and people like, oh, is that your brand that's going to be at such and such? And you like, no. And then you look it up. Their logo is very similar. Their colors may be very similar, or what they're saying may be very, very similar, right? So what they're doing, they're using your goodwill, right? They're using all the strides that you have personally made in your business, and they're trying to capitalize on that and use it themselves. So they're trying to say, oh, well, LaTanya does this, and I'm just using myself as an example. Oh, LaTanya does this, so now I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna create something very similar, right? Because we're in the same industry. That could possibly be trademark infringement, but guess what? I need to be on top of it. So one great tool, like I said, is a Google alert. And you don't have to just use it for this. You can use it for other things, but it is a great tool. Someone mentioned yesterday after the fact, just do a search, right? You can also do a search. For those of you that are very good on searching, make sure that you do that. You can do like a keyword search and things like that, but you want to stay on top of it. And you can definitely do it very effectively through your different social media channels. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that you stop this before you start to see your business go out the window. Okay. You don't want business to start declining and then you're trying to figure out what happened only to find out somebody's actually marketing themselves under your goodwill. All right. So let's go back over. Let me tell you the 3 for you guys just joining. Number 1, research to see if your trademark is available. Number 2, register your trademark. Number 3, monitor for infringement. And like I said in yesterday's video, I talked a lot about what to do if you locate that. Okay. Number 4, you should enforce your trademark. So let's say you reach out to them, you find out, right, that somebody's doing it and you reach out to them. Remember, I told you guys what to do yesterday. So you follow those rules and they still don't do it. See, once the infringement is discovered, you must act quickly, because if you don't, in some places, it can be considered a waiver. It can be considered like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you could do it. I don't have a problem with it because you know about it, right? So remember, we talked about different ways to enforce your trademark. And again, it really comes down to, and we talked about the laws yesterday, but it really comes down to how it's being infringed upon. Like, what exactly are they doing? So like, let's say a competitor has a registered and they have a domain that's similar to your trademark, right? Now, a domain name dispute may be your venue, right? Because it's very similar. So you got to think about that. Now, if they're simply using a trademark on their website and it's similar to yours, you can send them that cease and desist letter that we talked about yesterday. Now, you want to try all those options first before you, of course, sue them in court, but you may be able to do that. Now, same thing with the domain dispute. You reach out, say, listen, this is similar to my domain, whatever, because the domain, you change one thing, that's it. So you have to make sure that you do that. Now, here's the other thing. If they've applied to register the confusing mark, right, you can then file an opposition to that registration. This is why I told you guys, when it comes to trademarks, people always say, well, I can just get on Legal Bow Wow or just whatever these things are, and I could just put it up because they told me that I could. It may be a lot of things that you don't spend money on. I tell people this with uncontested divorces too. It may be a lot of things that you don't spend money on. A trademark is not one. You need to spend the money to get a professional that knows how to do this and what to do. Specifically what to do. I am encouraging you guys to make sure that you do that. So again, today we are talking about 4 ways to protect your trademark. 4 simple steps on how to protect your trademark. 1, research to see if it's even available. 2, if it is, register your trademark. 3, always monitor for infringement. Always see if you got anybody else out there doing anything that's similar. If you feel that there's infringement, then you need to take the steps to enforce it. Clients that work with me, one of the things that I give them in their package, if they choose it, now they have to choose it, but if they choose it, what's available to them, let me say it that way. One of the things that is available to them is a sample cease and desist, right? It's got all the legal language, and depending on the infringement. See, here's the thing about the cease and desist. Remember, I told you, it all depends on the type of infringement when you're monitoring it, or alleged infringement. I forgot I have to say alleged. But anyway, listen, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Power of Attorney. I want to thank our fabulous sponsors, Global Grind Magazine, Her2 Media Network, and the Biz Factory for always being a part of all the fabulous things that we're doing. I want to leave you guys with one thing. Never, ever, ever be in a place where you are unwilling to invest in protecting your brand. If you need more information, you need some of the services that we talked about today, you can reach out to me through inbox, or you can go to www.latanyamore.com to find out a little bit more about me and what I do. So until tomorrow, guys, have a great day.